Welcome to the Wacky News for the week ending November 30th, 2012. Man, oh man, the crazies were out this week. The Lewiston, Maine police responded to a call about a woman trying to start a fire. Once they arrived at the house, 21-year-old Heather Colson sped away. After chasing her a while, the police called off the pursuit, but then she returned to the house to try to start the fire again. This time, after an 80-mile-per-hour chase, the police caught her. The fire she was trying to start was with Molotov cocktails in an effort to burn her boyfriend's clothes. She's being held on $25,000 bail. Why is it some attorneys feel they are above the law? Like this idiot in Wayland, Michigan. Police arrested 35-year-old attorney Patrick Burson on 4 counts of operating and maintaining a meth lab and 2 counts of possessions of meth after searching his office. Maybe his law practice wasn't very profitable and he was just moonlighting to try to make ends meet. And here's a real nut job. 34-year-old Brandon Van Winkle has been sentenced to 3 years in jail for spitting on a corrections officer while being held on other charges. The Lacey, Washington man says he's Jesus Christ and that he's been conducting a 16-year undercover investigation of the court and jail system and uses methamphetamine to watch how people work. He says Rip Van Winkle is his father and Christina Aguilera is his wife. He told the judge and jail staff he would sentence them in Jesus Christ's court. I think if this nut job is going to be holding court anywhere, it'll be in a psych ward. Early Tuesday morning, an unidentified man was seen running around a Tarpon Spring, Florida golf course. Deputies caught up with the man after he went into a convenience store and assaulted a clerk. The man jumped into his van and led the deputies on a chase in which he sideswiped a deputy's car. He faces several charges including battery and aggravated fleeing to elude. I guess the reason he was unidentified is because he didn't have any place to put his ID because he did all this stuff while being naked. In Ann Arbor, Michigan, aspiring rapper Joshua Curtis stole a school bus and headed to Motown to work on some music. Don't guess he could drive the bus very well because his erratic driving prompted other drivers to call the police. He's being held on receiving and concealing stolen property, which I don't understand. For pity's sake, he stole a school bus. Now, how do you conceal a bus? Canadian Riley Sheehan, a prospect for the Detroit Red Wings, may be facing 180 days in jail and possible deportation, which is the penalty for breaking Michigan's tough super drunk law. During a traffic stop in Grand Rapids, Sheehan registered a blood alcohol level of 0.30%. The blood alcohol limit for driving is 0.08%, and the benchmark for the super drunk designation is 0.17%. At the time of the stop, Sheehan was wearing the costume of a purple Teletubby, also known as Tinky Winky. Okay. 63-year-old Alejandro Hurtado of Guatemala caused Concourse J of the Miami International Airport to be partially evacuated when a TACA airline ticket agent asked if he was carrying any hazardous materials, and Hurtado said he had dynamite in his luggage. When the ticket agent told him he was calling the police, Hurtado said he was only joking. Bomb squad officers responded and searched his bag but found no explosives. Now he's in custody and charged with falsely reporting a bomb at an airport. Didn't I tell you that crazies were out this week? In Germany, a Berlin tabloid, the BZ, caused a debate to start in the parliament over the fact that the German law banning cruelty to animals was not specific enough to prohibit the practice of bestiality explicitly. They did this by publishing on the front page of their rag a photo of a man holding his dog with the headline, "We call it sodomy, he calls it love." Parliament's Agriculture Committee met this past Wednesday and proposed a ban that would make sex with animals punishable with a fine. A vote on the ban is expected in December. Speaking of cruelty to animals, 2 men were arrested for illegally shooting a deer, then stabbing it to death in their vehicle when it suddenly came to and began to struggle. How they were caught, the California Highway Patrol received multiple calls from people reporting blood seeping out of a Toyota SUV near Shingle Springs. When officers pulled the vehicle over, they found the deer carcass in the back. Officers say both men and the interior of the SUV were smeared with blood. South of Olympia, Washington, near Scott Lake, police responded to a 911 call from a man who said he had shot another man. Once there, the caller told the deputies that he fired in self-defense, but it is believed that he actually shot the other man during a drug buy. The man that was shot is expected to live, and the shooter was booked into jail for investigation of attempted murder. But what makes this story so interesting is that while at the marijuana growth site, the deputies found instead of dogs to protect the drugs, there were, ready for this, 2 5-foot alligators. We're all familiar with the Salvation Army bell ringers at this time of the year, but in West Bend, Wisconsin, there's a very special bell ringer. Tinker, a 13-year-old brown, black, gray, and white miniature horse. His owner, Carol Tactus, taught Tinker to ring the bell with his mouth, and before appearances, she spends a half hour vacuuming his mane and fur and puts glitter on his hooves, a bell on his rear, and a Santa hat on his head. And yes, Tinker does wear the Salvation Army apron. Major Roger Ross, a Salvation Army commander, said Tinker is one of their biggest money raisers in the area. He brings in 10 times the amount of a regular bell ringer. He said a good kettle for a couple of hours brings in about $250. And for the same time period, Tinker and his owners have been known to bring in $2,500. He said people line up to put money in his kettle. And to put the finishing touches on this week's wacky news, we have this story. Eastern New Mexico University received a Yuletide gift box this week that contained 5 packages of 16 rolls of 2-ply septic-safe toilet tissue for a total of 80 rolls, along with a Christmas card and an anonymous written apology from a graduate that stole toilet paper from the school years ago. The note reads, "Years ago, when I was a young, immature college student, I took toilet paper from your dormitory as a prank. I apologize for that and offer this case. Jesus Christ has made such a difference in my life and has prompted me to repay for any sins I've done, even for so long ago. God bless and Merry Christmas." School officials say they appreciate the holiday gesture, but it is donating the toilet paper to Christian Children's Home near Portillo's because the tissue doesn't fit the school's dispensers. I guess you could call that regifting, couldn't you? Anyway, Wendell Sloan, director of Eastern New Mexico University Media Relations, said, "We express our admiration to the anonymous donor for their integrity and character. We never even knew that the toilet paper was missing, but thank our graduate for doing what they thought was right. If they ever want to reveal their identity, we assure them that we have nothing but respect and appreciation for them and would like the opportunity to tell them. If they have a guilty conscience, we want them to know all is forgiven." With that, we're out of here for this week and look forward to seeing you here next week for more wacky news.